Sadly, in the modern world, we see so much hatred, discrimination and prejudice. Sincere Christians don't want to offend people, but to love people. The church doesn't want to be known for its close-minded, out of touch or hateful in any way. We have an obligation to engage in what is happening in our culture, and so are looking at how we can be effective in standing against prejudice. That doesn't mean we won't be in the middle of cultural arguments and issues. Jesus was in the middle of controversy, but with a grace that allowed others to hear what he had to say. He wasn't immune from the arguments of the cultural and political leaders of the day, but he chose to speak life and truth into the climate of the first century. Christ in us compels us to speak with the same grace, the same life and the same truth into our culture as he did. It's not about left and right, it's not about their side and my side. As Christians, there should be only one side, God's side. God's kingdom is one of acceptance, unconditional love, honour, forgiveness, grace and hope. When you're on God's side, you do take a stand. When you take a stand against injustice, you fight for the oppressed, you care for the fatherless, you give to those who are living without. You take a stand with God. It's not about engaging your political views, it's about engaging your gospel views with others. This is God's side. This is the side that says all people are created by God and in the image of God. It's the side that says everyone has value, that all people are worthy of dignity and respect, regardless of ethnicity, wealth, gender, or status in life. Jesus transcends the barriers of prejudice, and we should too. Jesus said that if you want to make a difference spiritually, then treat the guy next to you the way you would want to be treated. Love your neighbour as yourself. How we treat and love our neighbour is at the very core of what it means to be an authentic follower of Jesus. If the greatest commandment is to love God and to love our neighbour as ourselves, then engaging with others who think and believe differently than we do is at the heart of the gospel. Christians should choose to win hearts, not arguments. The word gospel means good news. So be a bringer of good news, not bad news or fake news. You can't have the gospel without grace, so be a gracious person. Graciousness is one of the most potent postures you can make when engaging with others. Graciousness overcomes combativeness. Graciousness is having a forgiving attitude and a compassionate position while walking in wisdom with those whose attitudes and beliefs differ from yours. So be gracious towards others rather than being defensive towards them. We've seen enough confrontation to last a lifetime, so let's start having conversations. That means it is a two-sided dialogue. Be a listener. Listening shows more power and grace than you can imagine. We have to listen in order to be listened to. This means you should never come to a conversation simply telling someone what you think or what you think they think. Ask the other person what they think. Stop trying to be convincing and start being inviting. Don't see barriers, see opportunities. Choose to rally around themes that bring the gospel to the conversation. Love, honour, peace, humility, kindness, forgiveness, and hope. So if somebody asks me, are you for or against immigration, for instance, I would rally to the theme of peace, forgiveness, and honour, saying, instead of who I'm against or what I'm against, let me tell you what I'm 100% for. Human dignity, valuing everyone, finding forgiveness to heal, and bringing us together in peace. Now I can see you're hurting over what's happening. How can I help? Be deliberate in bringing peace to people, places, and discussions. This is a godly peace that has nothing to do with human beings or human circumstances. In fact, it can't be produced by anyone, but it can be found by everyone. Because this peace is a person, it's Jesus, the Prince of Peace. He crushed evil like no one else could. The closer you are to Jesus, the closer you are to peace. To be the church today requires deliberate, consistent and constant action in the struggles for justice. To be the church today requires an effort to overcome prejudice through actions to transform society and its structures of power and exclusion. To be the church today requires transformation into church communities which fully live the diversity of their peoples and cultures as a clear reflection of God's creation and image in humankind. It is to search and tell the truth about the realities of discrimination as expressed in policies, superiority myths, and disrespect to the diversity of cultures and identities. To be the church today is to be healing communities, transformed by the lives, gifts, and spirits of their own people, and to uphold the interconnectedness of life as a whole. As a church, we believe that we are the children of God and that we are a multicultural community. That is both a reality as a gift from God and a reality still to come. The tasks of spiritual and moral formation and discernment will always be part of the church's life and mission. In the church's own struggles for justice, peace, and integrity of creation, the essence of the church is at stake. The ugly triplets of prejudice, bigotry, and hatred are the dreadful children of ignorance. We must do all we can to combat hatred and prejudice and preserve the precious and fragile climate of mutual respect and tolerance. I find it significant that the Ten Commandments, which form the bedrock of moral base of our Judeo-Christian society, concern responsibilities, not rights. It is also significant that 2 of the Ten Commandments impose limits on free speech. Even the vital freedom of speech must be used responsibly. In our society, we have many who speak for freedom and rights, but we have far fewer organisations and people who are willing to define and advocate the responsibilities that are essential to the continuation of freedom and the enforcement of rights. This must be done if we are to preserve our freedoms and use them to bless one another in the world in which we live. If you would like to know more, then talk to someone you know who is a true Christian, or contact us at any of the addresses given on this slide. Or, if you're local, why not pop in to see us one Sunday morning? You will always be very welcome.